Hello there, thanks for coming by PosterCentral.com's video blog today. I'm Pete Howard, and boy am I just like thrilled and humbled and honored and privileged to be holding this poster. This is a masterpiece, just spectacular. The Can You Pass the Acid Test poster, of course, from late 65 and early 66, and I mean really late to really early. And this is the January 1966 Fillmore Auditorium one that's been colored in by hand, and as you can see is just spectacular looking. It's just a wonderful, wonderful piece from early San Francisco psychedelia. Look at that, look at those colors, that is just gorgeous. Now, as I've blogged before, this is known as the Norman Hartwig poster. Also could have been done by several other pranksters, even all together, such as Paul Foster. But right now we're calling it the Hartwig poster. And it was made on white paper, blue paper, and goldenrod paper. Naturally, the white paper, this one here, this specimen, holds up the hand coloring best because of the contrast. It looks the nicest, so it's really nice that this was originally a black and white one. All three, of course, just black ink on those colored papers. So I've already blogged a blue one and a gold one, by the way, but boy, I'll tell you, this white one with the hand coloring, this has three elements actually, not just the coloring, that absolutely knock it out of the ballpark, and that would be its provenance, its coloring, as I mentioned, and its venue, its location. Wow, it's just so special. And you know, look, I get excited about a lot of things that I blog, but every so often I'm just holding something that's just almost, you know, it's just really at the pinnacle, really the top of the heap. It's just fantastic. On the provenance tip, this actually belonged to a couple of people. Grateful Dead associate Bob Thomas, who designed the Dead's Steal Your Face logo in later years and a couple other album covers, and no less than Owsley Stanley. That's right, Mr. LSD himself had this for a long time, and he was a participant at the acid tests, by the way, naturally, and he also signed this poster, which I'll get to in a minute. So, you know, provenance is not necessary to make a poster a killer item or, you know, authenticated or something. A lot of great ones are found at garage sales and on the sides of barns and stuff. Inside old barns or whatever, but you know, when you have sweet provenance like that and it's tied directly to the participants, like a Grateful Dead associate or Mr. Acid himself, it just really is such a nice sweetener for us collectors. We just love that. Then, as already pointed out, the spectacular hand coloring. I mean, look how much time that must have taken. I mean, if this thing wasn't a work of art before, holy cow, just look at that. It just, you know, screams of the era and just screams of the event and LSD. It's just, which was wholly legal, by the way, at the time, completely and totally. It wouldn't be outlawed for about 10 months after this event. So, you know, it's perfectly legal and just wild fun. There's no question about it. Interesting the way the poster has two areas of dense coloring, the left column in the middle and the right column in the upper right, and then gets a little lighter in other places. As a matter of fact, down toward the bottom, almost seems to sort of disappear. So you sort of wondered if they didn't complete the coloring, just ran out of time or got sidetracked, or if in fact there's so much wording and so many directions down at the bottom, it was best left uncolored. Really hard to say. It does say along the bottom there things like perseverance furthers production, and inside the flag, interestingly, it's got, see that bottom center inside that flag, it actually has the directions for cutting this thing in half and stacking one on top of each other. And then it tells you, or it can be left as it is. And in the smaller flag it says, i.e., in other words, schizoid. And this one was left as it was, except for the coloring, my goodness. Now, even with that provenance stream I just spoke of, it's not really clear who colored it in. Could have been Thomas, could have been Owsley, or a combination. But they did more than coloring it. They got pretty crazy with this, and I'm going to come in for a couple more close-ups. In that left-hand column, to the left of the word acid, to the left of the A, you see that? It says hooks, horns, and tail wings written there. That's really, you know, that's pretty wild additional wording. That's pretty nice and very stylized lettering. We're talking about, you know, additional design to the poster, not just like doodling in the column or something like in the margin or something like that. And then, let's see, over here in the right column where it says audio, optics, and movies, below that has been added on a yellow background, demons. Ooh, wild. And then back in the lower left here, just below where all the color really stops, you can take a look there and it says, will it fly, with a question mark. And then witch's coven with a question mark. And then, lo and behold, the signature there, right above the DE, it says Bear Owsley Stanley. That's just amazing, isn't it? That's really something. Mr. LSD himself with an acid test poster sign. That's just so fantastic. Now, as I said, the third thing that knocks it out of the park was the venue that this event took place at. And there you have it, the all-important location of the event. My gosh, the Fillmore. And what's amazing is that it says Filmore Hall, not Fillmore Auditorium, because, you know, it wasn't established yet as a rock venue. And then it says Geary and Fillmore. But no date. But it's really stylized lettering, isn't it? That's just really wild. That's not just scribbled in or something. That took some time. And no date. And then this Saturday night. I should say it has no date, and you might wonder why, but notice up here, just below the big fingerprint, it does say this Saturday night. So the poster's original design sort of took care of the dating. This was like a week-long poster. It could be posted any day during the week, and the event was this Saturday night. So that's, you know, but, you know, to have this from the Fillmore and owned by a Grateful Dead associate and Owsley Stanley is just, oh man, that's just, it's like this perfect moment in pop culture history, isn't it? It's like Ken Kesey and the Merry Pranksters and the Grateful Dead all meeting and mashing up their cultures at the hallowed Fillmore Auditorium in San Francisco. It's just a wildly important and key mashup for both sides and stuff. It's just, you know, the thing just drips with history. It's so fantastic. It's like this perfect storm of the emerging youth culture and the music and drugs and psychedelia of San Francisco. That's just really... And this night was one to behold. It was January 8th of 1966. And in my video blogs, I hardly ever read anything to you real quickly because it can get boring real fast. But this is less than 50 words. You just have to hear what Tom Wolfe said about this very night, this poster's event on January 8th, 1966. From his book, The Electric Kool-Aid Acid Test, he said hundreds of heads and bohos, bohemians, from all over the Bay Area turned out, zonked to the eyeballs. Merry prankster Paul Krasner arrives and he sees a ballroom, of course the Fillmore, surrealistically seething with a couple of thousand bodies stoned out of their ever-loving minds in crazy costumes and obscene makeup. Wow, that must have been incredible. With a raucous rock and roll band, the Dead, and stroboscopic lights and a thunder machine and balloons and streamers and electronic equipment and a girl dancing with 4-inch eyelashes so that even the goddamn Pinkerton guards were having a contact high. And those are the words of the novelist Tom Wolfe. I should say in this case, of course, documentarian Tom Wolfe. Just what an event, you know, and what a killer poster, and what provenance, and what coloring, and what everything. I'm sorry, this stuff is just, you know, museum pieces, right? Just fabulous, great stuff. So, hope you enjoyed seeing it. I appreciate you stopping by. And it's hard to follow this, but I'll find something next time. And I hope you enjoy that too. Okay, have a nice evening. Take care. Bye-bye.